Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to the Man Fatherhood Initiative Men's Health session. All right. Uh, Today we have a guest with us, and also I'm going to allow them to just introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Daniel Myers. I'm the MATSUD Program Director for CareSouth. I'm a nurse by trade. Been working with Man to Man now for going on over 3.5 years, going close to 4 years. So, really enjoying this relationship that we got, and ready to do some training on substance abuse for you guys and ladies out there.
Okay, Trevor, go ahead. Trevor, your mic is on mute. Yes.
I'm sorry about that. I'm Trevor Dang, intervention specialist for Man to Man Fatherhood Initiative. I work with the Bennettsville office. It's a
Okay.
pleasure
Thank
being
you.
alive with them.
Okay. Well, today we're going to talk about substance abuse, and substance abuse is something that affects the family greatly. So, with our partners from CareSouth and Daniel, who is representing them, I mean, we are going to go straight into it. So, please feel free to message us your questions if you have any concerns, and let's see if we can answer them as best as possible. Because when the father is not healthy, it affects the family, and that's
That's right.
a great effect. I mean, substance abuse is something that tears the family away. And we know that from our personal experience, even within the region that we do live. I mean, if it's not in your direct family, it might be in your extended family, or it might be someone that lives right beside you, someone that works along with you. So when you check it out, it's possible that we all might be connected with someone that is close to us that is affected by substance abuse. So Daniel, please go right into it.
All right. So first of all, I just want to apologize to everybody that's listening. I don't have an accent. These two gentlemen right here got an accent. I feel foreign on. I feel like the foreign on here. Okay, but anyway,
Oh,
okay, we gonna go with it. Y'all just bear with me. Okay, Galen, don't you and Trevor say much because I don't
yeah.
want y'all still
What,
on the show
what,
with you.
what,
Okay,
what accent you got? What accent you got?
Hey, Daniel.
yeah, I just got like the regular country accent, right? So I'm not even gonna try to fake it. I'm gonna just go with what I got, what God gave me.
Okay, get it.
So
That's
Okay, go
right,
ahead.
man.
yeah, you guys hold up flashcards and don't talk. Just hold up flashcards. All right. Yeah, it's always good doing this training with you guys. But in order for us to talk about substance use, we need to talk about addiction, right? Addiction is the state in which the body relies on a substance for normal functioning. So we understand sometimes people get addicted because of an injury, of an illness, when taking medication, and after a while, this medication has a different effect. Like if just say if I hurt my back, Galen, and I'm taking some medication to help me function so I can work. After a while, the pain is gone, but I noticed a side effect from that medication. It also made me feel relaxed around my family. I can deal with more. I can handle more. So I start taking it for the intended purposes for which it was not used for, right? So which
Yeah,
can lead to addiction and it can lead to substance abuse. Okay, so we need to understand that anytime that we try to get ourselves off of this rapidly, it can cause withdrawals. Okay, withdrawals is really, really bad. People die from withdrawals. And what withdrawals is a sudden movement of this item, of this drug, this chemical that I now use for normal functioning, and I take it away rapidly, right? And my body reacts in a way that's dangerous, right? I can get sick, I can get nauseous, I can have convulsions, I can have chills. A lot of things can happen, but it can ultimately, if not treated, it can lead to death. So, what is addiction? Addiction is a chronic relapse brain disease. Okay, so addiction is a disease. So when you talk about a person having an addiction, you're not just talking about an event. You're talking about a disease process now because now it's chronic. Okay, it's every single day a person has to deal with addiction. It's not a one issue or a one time thing. It's a lifelong journey. Okay, to recovery. So what it looks like whenever you have addiction, it shows that you have this trouble making critical decisions. Okay, you have learning and memory disabilities. Your behavior is out of control. You're unable to control yourself, which may explain compulsive and destructive behaviors that comes with addiction. Right? Risk factors, risk takers. And what are men? What is our character? Are men risk takers? They're risk takers. Right?
yeah,
According to our men's health, we are the greatest risk takers, right?
yes,
We're
very
That's
more
much.
likely
right.
to die from car crashes or accidents because we're risk takers, right? So if you don't believe it, Galen, when's the last time you assembled something? When last time you put something together?
Last night.
Last night. Did you look at all the directions?
Well, I'll say, yeah, I like looking at the directions. So
you do.
yeah.
See, okay, so somebody with my accent and not Trevor's accent and not Galen's accent, we don't need the directions, right?
That's correct.
We always end up with more pieces than we started with, right?
Yes.
This is extras, right? And so we put ourselves in a place where we don't use everything. We don't follow directions. We don't follow safety protocol. And the same thing when it comes to drugs. We don't follow directions of use. So it leads to addiction. It leads to substance abuse, okay?
And Daniel, can I just say something? I mean, the reason why I started using direction because of a personal experience. So I learned from it, that experience. That's the reason now why I look at the manual. But before now, I mean, I know to put it together. So I just get it done. It looks, I mean, look at the box. Okay, let's go.
right. And it always have extra pieces when you look at the box.
Yes.
Okay. So it's important that we follow directions. And the reason why we're talking about this is because over 40 million people in the U.S., which is 16% of the population back in 2015, suffer from addiction problems. That's for cigarettes, alcohol, or prescription or illicit drugs. Okay, so it becomes substance abuse is now an epidemic. Okay, so what do we know about an epidemic? An epidemic is nationwide. Okay, we understand on the other hand, we're dealing with COVID-19, which is a pandemic, which is worldwide. Okay. Worldwide. And if we take an account to all the other countries that might have people who are suffering from substance use disorders, opiate use disorders, or alcohol misuse, we might consider this is a pandemic as well. But since we're talking about our region and our nation, then we know that this is the epidemic, something that we face every single day. So about 10% of those who are addicted ever seek help. And why is that 10% so significant? Because 10% is a small number when you look at the population of the United States, okay? And those people dealing with addiction. Why? Because there's a stigma behind getting treatment. Because I don't want to go tell somebody I got a problem with drugs, right? Because it makes me look weak. It makes me look, I'm a bad person. There's a stigma behind it. So part of my job as being the MAT HUD program director is to do community education around stigma reduction. It increases the likelihood of somebody seeking treatment for an addiction or seeking behavioral health counseling for some mental health issues that might lead to addiction. Okay, it's very important that we remember that. So what are some different types of drugs that we can get involved in? Okay, alcohol. Okay, so is it bad to drink? I mean, I don't drink because of my religious beliefs, but is it bad to drink? According to the go ahead, Galen.
No, well, it's not bad, but it's how much do you consume?
Right.
That's right. Same thing I had in mind. Like, I don't think it's bad, but when you go to excesses, that's when you get off the rail.
So what you mean when we step out of moderation and we begin to go into excess, it becomes a problem, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So long-term use of alcohol. I'm gonna ask you guys a question. Is long-term alcohol can it be irreversible or can it cause permanent brain damage? Can it? You think so?
Yes.
And that's true. It can, right? So let's find out why. Okay. So what are some of the street names for alcohol?
Liquor.
Liquor. What else?
40.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. Some of the old slang terms is like booze, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's right.
And now with the younger generation, it's a scissor, it's whatever. You know, I don't know all these new names because I'm not out there doing it. But, you know, we know that alcohol.
Yeah.
Huh?
No, I was saying we're out of touch with the new names now.
Yeah, I'm out of touch. You know, I'm really out of touch. I got to get more with it. So just in case my kids are trying to run something past me, I can be on the lookout.
I guess today's kids would say that they'll get lit. Let's get lit.
That's it. Yeah, or I want some of that fire or whatever it is, you know.
Yeah.
But we'll get to the fire in a minute. But alcohol itself is a depressant, okay? And so when people think that they're on their game and they're on point when they're drinking alcohol, that's a lie. Because alcohol slows your reflexes, right? It slows your mental capacity to think. It slows your ability to make wise decisions. And so you're not on point. You're actually far off point than you was when you were sober. You're on the dangerous side of it, which increases our likelihood of getting in an accident, fatal accident or causing somebody else harm or even causing bodily harm to ourselves. The legal age of alcohol, consuming alcohol in South Carolina is what? What's the legal age to buy for me to go and buy a beer and consume it? Is it 21?
What is it? It's 18?
I think it's 21.
Oh, 21.
Yes.
Remember we have accent, right?
Yes.
Sorry?
Yeah, I know where you're from. Yeah. Okay, so you probably can buy a fifth of rum over there and you're okay at 18. But over here, you're going to jail, right? So we got to be careful. We can't get the accents crossed. Okay. Yes. So when you where Galen and Trevor's from, you probably can buy it at a younger age. But when you over here, you have to be 21 to get it. Okay. And most of the time, now you have to be 21 to even buy and consume tobacco products. So that age is kind of universal. But many people in the U.S. start drinking at the age of 13. So that's a big difference between 21 and 13, right? So we understand drinking at 13. So you are definitely against the law. And the person that's actually contributing to you is definitely against the law because now they contribute to the delinquency of a minor. Okay. So
that's correct.
Alcohol to minors. So that's two ways that you can be illegal. Okay. So is there any time allowed that you can give alcohol to a minor legally? No.
In state of South Carolina?
Anywhere in the United States?
Okay. No,
not legally, right? But some people do follow tradition, right? That's part of the tradition, part of their heritage that children do drink during dinner or whatever else, but it's still illegal. Okay. Underage drinking is a big problem in the United States. We understand that because I deal with that with my job daily, or all the time. I'm trying to talk to people in the counseling treatment for alcohol misuse. Okay, and so we don't say alcoholic anymore. That's an inappropriate term to use. We don't say he's a booze head. We don't use that. The term that we use now, which is decreases the stigma, is alcohol misuse. Okay, this person is involved in alcohol misuse. All right, so we don't want to use none of those old terms that kind of push people away from treatment. So this is more inviting because we let them know that now it's a disorder. Okay, alcohol misuse disorder. All right, so now there's a name attached to it that's medical. So it reduces the stigma behind it. Okay, so if I was to drink, who am I more likely to get my alcohol from as a minor?
Parents.
Who else?
That's right.
Friends, right?
Yes.
And that happens because of peer pressure. And then I do it because I see other people do it because it's a ritual in my household. Okay. Yes. Most young men become alcoholics because they see their fathers and their uncles drink to an excess and they think this is the right behavior.
That's correct. That bottle is left alone, so they're going to take a sip.
That's right. And and they watch. Children watch where you put your alcohol products. Okay. Yeah. When you leave, trust me, I know. We go and we experiment. We want to see how that tastes.
Yes.
Right. And over time, that taste becomes, well, let me try a little bit more. It becomes a habit. We share it with friends. And before you know it, now we become social drinkers. And after a while, we become lone drinkers. And then before you know it, there are people who are dealing with alcohol misuse. Okay.
Daniel, just to put that, someone asked a question. I think Sheila Smith asked a question, and she's asking, how do you remove or reduce the stigma around seeking help?
We have to change the name. We have to change the mindset. The first thing we have to do in order to remove the stigma is educate the public on treatment, on why treatment is important, why it's necessary. And also we have to change the language around treatment and around the disorder. We can't, like I said, we can't use he's an alcoholic, okay? Or he'll wino, okay? He Ned from Good Times, okay? We can't use that type of language because it promotes stigma, okay? But when we remove it and we attach a medical term to it, it kind of it softens my addiction issues, and it gives me an answer to what I'm going through. Because all before I don't know, I'm just an alcoholic. My daddy was a wino, I'm a wino, whatever. Okay, but once I tell you, look, what you have is can be treated, and it's a medical issue, and it's called alcohol misuse. Okay, it's nothing to be embarrassed about. It can be treated, and we can help you. Okay, that reduces the stigma behind people going to get help. Okay, so we have to change the language, educate the public, and get people involved in their community activities as far as all the addiction that's going on around in the neighborhoods. Okay. So talking about it. If you see something, say something. Encourage people into treatment instead of encouraging them to stay away. As part of our culture, the Black culture, Anytime we go and seek help from anybody outside of our pastor or our family, then we got mental issues. You crazy, right? You know, you psycho or you weak. Okay, we have to change that. These professions are licensed for a reason, to help people that have problems like mine to seek help and to have a normal way of life and also sustain sobriety. All right, so we have to talk about these things with people. And I guess it's a guy is 4 times more likely to be to have this problem with alcohol misuse if his dad was a person with alcohol misuse. All right.
Okay. Well, and also she just messaged that she has discussed with her brother and change the language, but he still refuses to acknowledge. Well, what I'll say to you, Sheila, is that I mean, please to refer him to the CareSouth facility if you're living within the PD region of South Carolina. I mean, they're give great help, or if he needs men to talk to about
That's
this
right.
solution, I mean, please feel free to call us at the Man-to-Man office. I mean,
That's
we will be able to help him to possibly see the great effects that it has on him and also his surrounding or his environs.
that's right.
Yes.
Right. And I found too that whenever you sit and talk to a person about their behavior and you bring things to their attention that they might not be aware of, you can't do it when they're in a drunken state. Okay. You
That's
have to do
right.
it when they're sober minded and able to receive and hear what you're saying. Okay. Sometimes I'm not gonna say that this is a good thing, but sometimes I've noticed that if you record a person in their behavior, because they don't realize they're in it. Then when you show them how they act, okay, and how it can affect the people around them, they're more apt to listen to what you're saying when it comes to their disorder, okay, whether it's substance use disorder, whether it's alcohol misuse, okay, or whether it's opiate use disorder. It's important that people know how it affects their livelihood and the people around them. When you listen, when a person get drunk, they're not only affecting them, but they're affecting everybody that's on the road with them, everybody that's in their company, everybody that's in their family, because there's a likelihood for a mishap, accident, or or even alcohol or overdose where you can die from it. Okay, so just just saying I can handle my alcohol, you don't know what your limit is because you've never reached your limit before. Okay, but by the time you reach your limit, you're not in a mental state to make decisions about, well, how do I come out of this? How do I need help? Catch them while they're sober. Remind them of things they did when they were, under the influence of that substance. Okay, that's very important. I noticed that she said too that yes, it would be great for him to have other men to chat with.
Yes.
Okay, and she said that she will reach out. So that's perfect. Having connections in the community, right? Having resources in the community almost guarantees a person, they might not succeed the first time, they might not succeed the second time, but if that continued support is there, they continue to come back until one day it clicks and they'll be, becomes, they won't have that issue anymore. They'll seek treatment for it. So it's very important. Okay, so what happens when a person is drunk, Galen? Just like last night when you were drinking a fifth of cognac, right? With a little bit of coke. Okay. Trevor told me on the side when you was trying to fix the computer. Trevor said that he was this inhibiting behavior. He was dizzy. He was talkative. Slurred speech. You know what I'm saying? That's probably where the accent coming from this morning, actually. Right.
Listen, I don't remember. I don't remember what happened.
You do it. You remember that, right?
No.
You don't remember. That's what I'm saying. He will not remember that. He forgot about it. Okay. And so even Terrence told me, said, yeah, he called me and said when he get a little closer to South Carolina, so he want to fight me when he get here. Right. So aggressive behavior. Galen he displayed everything that a person with alcohol misuse display. I mean, all of them. Galen, you had it. I'm sorry. I would get you after the meeting. We would get you some help. I promise. Okay. All right. So what's the side effects of what's the side effects of being under the influence? Okay, Gail, do you have a headache this morning?
Yeah.
Headache, right? Did you feel a little on the stomach?
That's a perfect. We're joking, right?
Yeah, we joking. Yeah. Everybody, we just playing, okay? We just using Galen. This is an example. Okay. So Galen, was you nauseous this morning?
Yeah, I mean, I had a headache, a very horrible headache this morning.
Okay, and probably you were thirsty because alcohol does dehydrate you, so you probably wanted a lot of water this morning too.
Yeah.
A little dizzy, and you're probably tired right now, right?
Very
because you
tired.
stayed up all night trying to fight Trevor, talking trying to fight Terrence, talking them to death and everything. So yeah, you're probably tired. This is what happens. This is a hangover side effects. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. So addiction. Okay, the negative effects of let's talk about the negative effects of alcohol. Okay, how can it have a negative effect in your family and your household? Just a question.
First of all, with kids being around, you're just going to be displaying a really poor example of what you're supposed to be as a parent.
Right.
And so that child looks up to you for you to, show them what they're supposed to do. And what happens is that if you abuse alcohol or even any drugs, when that child reaches in a situation that is similar to what you're going through at that age, they're going to want to tend to move towards the same thing. I mean, daddy did this and it made daddy feel better. So I guess it will make me feel better also.
That's right. That's right. And Sheila said it also causes arguments in the household because the person becomes very argumentative, right?
Yes.
So which means that it's hard to get anything accomplished with a person who is under the influence of alcohol. Also, a person who has long-term alcohol use have irreversible brain damage. They can have cirrhosis of the liver. They can have throat cancer. They can have stomach cancer. Okay, so this is how it affects. So which means it leaves the family caring for people who have this issue with addiction. Okay.
So basically you're saying that it affects your health then.
It affects your health, not only your social life, but it affects your health as well. So it has a holistic effect on you, period. All right.
Okay.
Everything around you, everything associated with you, alcohol has a negative effect on all that. Alcohol misuse. Okay. So is it okay to drink with your friends?
Yes.
What they call a social drink. If that's what you do, is it okay to have a social drink?
Of course.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Okay. It all depends on your body.
Right.
If your body can, I mean, if your body can manage, because everybody is built up a little bit different based on how they keep their body.
That's right. So just say for instance, if me, you, and Trevor hanging out, okay, we're going to meet up with Terrence, and Terrence want to give us a beer at his house, just one 12 ounce, all right? Because he's stingy, he want to keep the other 25 himself. Okay, so he want to just give us one, and we have that one beer. Would that affect us tremendously?
It can.
It can.
It can. Yes, it can.
Okay, but not health wise, right? That one beer one time cannot affect us health wise, right? We should be okay.
That's right.
So social drinking is okay, but when you start doing it in excess, like by yourself, trying to find companies to hang out with so you can drink multiple times a day, then that becomes an issue.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Daniel. What happens if someone has a bad case of acid reflux, and the drink might be a one beer? More than likely, that beer might be flame up that acid reflux to be very horrible, right?
It could. That's right. So a person have to know their body and know their limitations.
Because the reason why I mentioned that, because say the person is not a social drinker or a habitual drinker, all right, but then again, they go to a function, everybody's having a beer, and they're gonna look odd if they don't, but they have a stomach issue. I mean, I would not advise that person to drink because it's going to get you sick at the end of the day.
That's right.
Yes.
And that's what good friends do. Good friends remind us of our, okay, remember last time we did this, you got a little sick, so you might need to reframe, just get you a glass of water. Okay. It's okay to drink with water.
Yes.
It's okay to toast with water. Okay. But you have to know your limitations, know your body. Okay. So even mothers that drink have, that leads to future problems because now that babies can have what they call fetal alcohol syndrome. Okay. And these kids have a different look. They have a learning disability. Okay. They have health issues. And then they become targets for bullies later on because of your one time getting drunk and wanting to hang out with your friends, and not one time, but your many uses of alcohol that led to this birth defect. Okay, so it says one in 750 infants in the U.S. per year are born with fetal alcohol syndrome. Okay, that's 40,000. That's 40,000 children a year that's diagnosed with fetal alcohol syndrome, and we can reduce this greatly by abstinence or by not having that drink of alcohol at all, especially when we're pregnant. Okay. So another drug, and we don't even call it a drug. We don't even think it's a drug, right? Is cigarettes. Okay, cigarettes, or the slang term for it is squares. Let me get a coffin nail. I ain't never heard that before, but they said it. Coffin nail, Let me get a puff, whatever. Let me get a short. Yeah. What you said, Trevor?
Let me get a chew. Let me get a snuff.
Yeah, tobacco, right? So
Yeah.
tobacco, we know that cigarette smoking is awful, but tobacco is 4 times more harmful than cigarette smoking because it's concentrated and it's going directly into the bloodstream through your buccal membranes in your mouth. Okay, so you're more likely to get high or to get sick because of that. All right, so and what's the leading drug in tobacco is nicotine. That's what makes us come back, right?
Yeah.
That's what makes us keep coming back. But also there's some other chemicals in that cigarette. It's 4,000 other chemicals in one little cigarette that can lead to cancer. Okay, that's formaldehyde, arsenic, tar, and cyanide. We know that cyanide is a poison, right? We know that formaldehyde is used for embalming, right? Arsenic is used in rat poison, okay? And tar is thick and it goes to lungs. So is any of this stuff healthy for you?
No.
Now listen to this. This is a sheet that I got from Man to Man, okay? It says when smokers quit smoking, the benefits accrue within 20 minutes of smoking the last cigarette. Okay, so at 20 minutes, the blood pressure decreases, the pulse drops, the body temperature in the hands and the feet increase. Okay, why is that? Circulation increase, right? So when circulation, you get blood to those extremities that couldn't otherwise get there because of the tar in the system, and the tar makes your blood sluggish. Okay, so it don't reach there. Your heart is not a proficient pump at that point. Okay, 8 hours after you stop smoking, carbon dioxide levels drop to normal. Oxygen levels increase to normal. Okay, at 24 hours, just 24 hours, a chance of heart disease decrease, heart attack decrease. Okay, in 24 hours, one day after smoking, you're increasing your health that much. 2 days, nerve endings start regrowing, regenerating. Okay, so when your fingertips couldn't feel anything because you didn't burn them out, now after 2 days, you start to get feeling back in your fingertips. Okay, ability to smell and taste enhanced. Why? Because you destroyed it with the heat and the smoke and all the chemicals that clog your nostrils and dull your senses. Okay, 2 weeks, circulation improves, walking becomes easier, and lung function increases. Okay, within 1 to 9 months of smoking, coughing, sinus infection, fatigue, and shortness of breath decrease. And I think people need to hear this information because it might promote somebody to want to smoke because they might see some of this stuff happening with them right now, and I need to make a change. And this would increase their likelihood to make that change. Go ahead, Galen.
It's very important. And you mentioned something earlier about the effects of substance abuse on kids in terms of when females are pregnant. And what I wanted to add to that and also say is that men, if you're in that household and your wife or your girlfriend likes to smoke, I'm going to say that discourage them from not doing it while they're pregnant. If they like to drink, discourage them from not doing it because the effects is going to affect the child later on. So just to go back to add to that point, because these are reasons why a lot of these kids are born with all these disabilities.
That's it.
And I remember meeting someone that says that person did it and the child is normal, so I can do it. And they don't understand how detrimental it is to their kids. So it's just to encourage fathers out there that, yes, have them break from it while pregnancy, that they can have a healthy child.
That's right. That's right. Because for 2 reasons. Secondhand smoke is more harmful than the firsthand smoke because you exhaling those 4,000 chemicals back into the air to some healthy lungs. Okay, and that's dangerous to the children. Children with asthma, children with bronchitis, it's not good to be in that type of household where you're smoking. So if you're not concerned with your health, be concerned with your children's health and do better for them. Okay, by doing better for yourself. All right. Okay. And so I said, okay, just 1 year after smoking, excess risk of coronary heart disease is decreased to half that of a smoker. So you're getting your health back when you start. Okay, 5 to 15 years, the risk of stroke is decreased to that of people who never smoked before. Okay, 10 years, the risk of lung disease, the risk of cancer. Okay, all that decreases. Okay, 15 years, you have the same health as the person who never smoked. So I think that's important that if we're smoking, this should be an incentive that we stop smoking now. And if you need help with that, you can always call 1-800-QUIT-NOW for assistance. Or you can come visit CareSouth and we can help you with your smoking problem. We can put you on a treatment plan to help you let that be one of your goals to work towards is to quit smoking. Okay. And so how else can smoking affect us? Through our income, through our pockets. Most fathers are struggling to take care of their families anyway. And so when you're wasting money in cigarettes up to from $2,000 to $2,500 a year, you kind of taking it away from your family just for self-enjoyment, right? That's kind of selfish to me. That's just my opinion.
Let me ask this, Daniel. As a man, well, I don't smoke, but what's the average amount of cigarettes one consumes daily?
One consumes daily.
Yeah.
It said, yeah, and I got to find it. Let me see.
And I mean, I'm just gonna say it off the street. I mean, off the street, I heard some person say that, hey, they'll smoke a box.
Yeah, a package with that.
Yeah, package. Yeah. I mean, how many cigarettes comes in a package?
20.
20. Okay, yeah. Then.
20.
Whoa.
Yeah, I used to smoke. I stopped smoking probably about, I don't know, probably about 15 years ago, right? And then cigarettes was pretty cheap, but even I still won't making the money. So some days I had to make a choice, Trevor, whether I'm going to put gas in my car or buy cigarettes. And
that's right.
I would much rather walk during that time and have my Newport. Right? That was so my priority was totally wrong, right?
Yeah.
But after that time, I noticed the money that I saved those cigarettes, I was able to contribute that back to my household as well as keep gas in my car, and I didn't wear as many pair of sneakers, right? I didn't have to walk that much. So over time, you learn.
And it's a simple math. I mean, you check up the costs that you occur in how many boxes of cigarettes you would spend on buying.
Yeah.
Versus putting away that money to do something else for your family.
Right. So, Gil, you said, okay, let's say a person smokes 2 packs of cigarettes a day.
Yeah.
Cigarettes right now, I guess, I don't know, but I'm assuming they're probably around $6 or $7 a pack.
Yes.
Right? So you're at $14 a day for cigarettes over 5 days, right? And so that's probably what, $70?
Mm-hmm.
That's a bunch of money a week just in cigarettes, going up in smoke, right? Yeah. You burning it. You might as well just light it. Take $70 and just light it. Somebody will say, man, you crazy. I ain't burning no $70. But that's exactly what you're doing when you smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day. You're just taking $70, putting a match to it, and watching it go up in flames. Right?
And I mean, the excuses that you'll hear is that it makes me feel better. But guess what happened? It doesn't solve the situation.
That's right.
You're now becoming an addict. That every time you feel this way, you need a pack of cigarettes. But the situation it doesn't go away.
No, it
it's
doesn't.
Right there, staring at you.
But remember what we said addiction is. Addiction is relying on the substance for normal functioning, right? So they said that they can't get, man, when I'm stressed, I got to have me a cigarette, right? Mm-hmm. I had a friend that said, look, I don't have a problem. I only smoke after I eat, right? That's what he said. I just smoke after I eat. So if he wanted a cigarette because he didn't want to be a liar, he would eat a pecan, one pecan, eat it and say, well, I ate, now I can smoke a cigarette. Okay, yeah. You begin to justify your addiction, right? And that's not good. It still has the same effect on you, right? So now you become, making wise decisions. It alters your decision-making process. So it doesn't matter what the drug is. There's always a problem with the brain, okay? And so you also have to deal with oral tobacco, right? Like the snuff, the chew, the dip, the pouches, right? Yeah. Yeah. And so that can lead to oral cancer, right? Cancer of the tongue, cancer of the throat, cancer of the stomach. When you're dealing with tobacco products, that's one of the leading causes of all cancers. Okay, smoking and all that's the leading cause because of all the chemicals that's involved. Okay, what about hookah? Y'all know about hookah?
Yep, party.
Yeah, party time, right?
Party kids.
Not to mention one of the nastiest things ever because of spreading diseases, right?
Yep.
Everybody's right together. Now, you can't do it right now because we're not supposed to be around anybody blowing out nothing anyway. You can't people through a mask. Trevor, don't even try it. I see Trevor thinking about trying it when he get home.
No way, man. No way.
Right, so okay, but it's appealing to children because one thing, tobacco is flavor, right? So it smells good, but it's still the same habit. You still have the same risk factors, okay? More so now because you're adding water droplets to the lungs, and the lungs are not supposed to have water droplets if they're not naturally put there. So what happens when you fill your body with water that's not supposed to be in your lungs? What is that called? Pneumonia.
Yep.
Right? So you get sick. So you wonder why people have this cough, this hacking cough, and they're coughing all the time, and it's wet all the time, right? It's putting stuff in your lungs that shouldn't be there. Not COVID-19, but now it could be Newport 2020, whatever. Okay, but you just need to stay away from this stuff. Okay. The vapes, which is a big problem with our teenagers, okay, and our children, because it's appealing, it looks cool, okay, but it's also addictive, very addictive and very dangerous. There are studies now that show children having what they call popcorn lungs from the use of e-cigarettes, vaping, okay, which is a horrible disease. You know, children, some of our young children have died from vaping. Some of them have long-lasting health issues because of vaping. And so it's not safe, and it's not proven, and it's not safer than cigarettes. It's more dangerous than cigarettes, in my opinion, because of the study that's not being done yet on it. Because they're proven, there's no proven benefits. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now let's go to prescription drugs, which is a big problem in our area. Okay. People taking prescription drugs that wasn't prescribed to them. Okay. Now we know for a couple of reasons that these prescription drugs have two uses. One use is to get high, of course, right? The other use is for monetary gain. Okay, and so for one thing, if we got fathers out there that's dabbling in getting rid of some medication on the streets, I don't care if it is a pill or if a pill in the bottle, it's still illegal drugs because it doesn't belong to you. Okay, so it'll put the father out of the household. Okay, but also these same drugs, which are narcotic painkillers or like opium or things like that, that's included in these drugs, it can lead to addiction because they're very addictive. Okay, is that easy for children to get? Because they're right there in the cabinet. Everybody got them, right? And whenever you're finished using these, if you don't need them anymore, take them to your local sheriff department or your local pharmacist so that they can dispose of them and you don't keep them in your household. And they can be used by somebody else for unintended purpose, okay? Because they're dangerous, especially around children, okay? Most of our addictions today center around opiate misuse or opiate disorders, okay? Now, are pain medication necessary? Yes, some people do deal with chronic pain, and they need this, okay? For those that need it, then we give it to them, but we give it to them under monitorship, which means the providers are now mandated to monitor the prescription that they give people used for pain. Any opiates or any controlled substance have to be monitored. Also, the prescription, the scripts plan, which is the prescription control plan, monitors how often these people get these drugs in an effort to curtail addiction to these drugs or misuse. All right,
Daniel, let me ask you something. Why is it a major issue within the area that was served?
For one thing, we live in a rural area, okay? Yeah. And so there's a lot of farm work, there's a lot of factory work, there's a lot of hard labor, okay? There's a lack of resources when it comes to pain management. There's a lack of resources when it comes to people applying for health insurance. So people self-medicate. They borrow medication from friends. Galen, you got to do everything for a headache? Yeah, man, I got some Percocets. Can I borrow one? I got a headache, right? Okay. So we share drugs together, okay? And then in the meantime, the economy is real low. So what we use the drugs for, if we're prescribed by a doctor, we have to pay a light bill. And there's equity in these pills. So I sell these pills to get my money for my bill. So over time, now it's become a habit, not for me just taking them, but now for me to make money off of. So I'm misusing them in that aspect as well. Okay. Remember, we live in the South. We live in a poor environment. Even though sometimes we think that we're doing good compared to other states, we are living in poverty. Okay. Yeah. And you see poverty every single day with the people that you serve, and we see with the people that we serve. Okay. Where they're barely making ends meet. And so any resource, whether it's for self-medication or for financial resources, these drugs are being misused. Okay.
Thank you.
And if you know anybody that's dealing with substance use in that aspect of opiate use disorder or stimulant use disorder, like we're going to talk about now, please consult CareSouth, and we have a program that can help you. It's MAT program, medication-assisted treatment. We can get you in with a doctor that get you a medication to get you off of those, get you with counseling to change your mindset, which means behavior modification. We can get you on the road to recovery and on the road to sobriety. Okay.
All right. And so, is it free?
Huh?
And is it free?
I'm gonna say yeah, virtually. It's free because we have programs to get you in that will pay for your medication and your office visit, but you have to be willing to abide by the contract that we give you. Okay, we work with local day holders agencies over in Marlboro County. We work with Trinity Behavioral Health. Okay, and Trinity offer waivers to people who need help with substance abuse. They pay for your medication and they pay for your doctor's visit. They also offer you free counseling. All that's free of charge. And the doctors here at CareSouth take care of the medical part of it. So which means they're treating your substance abuse. But if you come to us at the same time with any health issues, we deal with those at the time of your visit as well. Right?
Okay.
Because most people have comorbidities. So which means not only am I addicted, but I also have back pain. Not only am I addicted, but I have heart disease. Not only am I addicted, but I have high blood pressure or diabetes. So all those things need to be treated as well to make sure that you have a high quality of life and you're not likely to go back and seek those other things that for self-medication inappropriately. Okay.
So just to add to what you're saying is that anybody that is suffering from substance abuse or is affected by substance abuse within the region that was served, which is the Florence County, Darlington County, Chesterfield County, Marion County, Dillon County, Marlborough County, Lee County. Well, Lee County is in here, guys. There is no excuse for you not to get information or even access services to treat these issues.
We have open access to service. We have plenty of room. We have access. I'm like Donald Trump. We got the most access ever, right? We got tremendous access. We got awesome. It's never been access like this before. Okay, so we have availability to see anybody. Just come and see us.
Thank you.
Okay. Also, the most drugs used during this time that this slide was presented was Vicodin and OxyContin. Okay, so those were the most used drugs in an overdose in the United States during this time. Okay, what about steroids? We don't see much of that no more, but we do hear about this in performance enhancing drugs in our pro athletes, right?
Yeah.
The same kind. Okay, we use it for an intended, which it was not meant for. It's being you're trying to get bigger, right? And anybody that work out know that my arms ain't even big enough, right? I got to keep working on my arms. If anything can make my arms bigger, then I'm gonna shoot it up. I got to look good. So you can become addicted to those anabolic steroids as well, but that cause issues too. Shrinking testicles, right? Rashes, what they call a roid rash. You become upset, angry a lot real quick. So we need to refrain from those two. Seek help with those as well. Okay. And watch your children around them. They'll take them as well. Okay. Prescription drugs, just be careful where you store them. Be careful that whenever, like I said, make sure that they're prescribed to you and to nobody else. More than 20% of Americans reported current use of prescription drugs for non-medical purposes, which means that would lead to addiction. If I'm prescribing something for a backache and I'm taking it for anxiety, that's wrong. I would have anxiety more than I would have a backache. So I'm going to use that excuse to keep taking these drugs. Okay. More people die in the U.S. from prescription drug abuse than car crashes. True, right? And so back up for a minute. OxyContin and Vicodin were the leading causes. Now you have heroin, okay, and fentanyl, which took those. It just wiped those out. So now this is the leading cause of most deaths and overdoses in South Carolina: fentanyl and heroin. Okay, still prescription drugs. They ain't still in there, but mainly these additives and these synthetic drugs is what's causing death. Okay, we talked about overdose. We talked about over the counter. Whenever you go to the doctor to go to the pharmacy, go to the Dollar General and get your Sudafed or whatever, you're being monitored because those drugs are used in a cocktail for methamphetamines, okay, and meth. So be careful about your purchasing those because you're being tracked from the time that you buy them until you get home. So they're watching the current time that you buy them because they're being used for illegal purposes. What about energy drinks? Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that is good that they are being monitored.
Yes, because that would curtail the drug use and the manufacturing of illegal drugs. Even though Red Bull give you wings, okay, it's still not healthy. Anything that increase your heart rate, increase your make you stay, it's a stimulant. It's going to make your heart beat and your body work faster than it should. So be careful on your intake of these drugs because they have high caffeine, high sugar, and they use some herbs and vitamins that might interact with your current medications. So be careful with those. Some of the side effects is dehydration, anxiety, palpitations, which is irregular heartbeats, irritability, difficulty sleeping, and indigestion. Okay, and it's easy for kids to buy. These are legal in the stores. So watch your children. So Over time, our bodies can build up a tolerance. And when we start building up a tolerance, we are more apt to overdose on something because we figure we can handle more. Okay, because it might take me 2 pills a day to get full effect. Tomorrow it might take 4. Over time, your body reaches a plateau, and that's easy for you to overdose. So you need to be careful with this. So watch our children, men. Watch your families in your house. If you're doing any of these things, seek help. That way, you don't have to worry about this affecting your household and now or in the future. Because what children see, they emulate, and I don't want that to be one of my characters that they imitate. So let's watch our behaviors around our children when it comes to substance abuse. Okay, and that's really all I got, because this stuff affects your loved ones. It affects your children, your co-workers, and it affects friendships. Galen?
I'll ask this question and I just want to ask it out loud. And you don't necessarily need to answer it because it's something that I want everybody to think about. When you abuse substance, what is it costing your family? And that is something that I want everybody that watch this stream to think about, because how important is our family? How much do we love our family? How much? And then let me say it's because we do have a lot of broken families here. So how much do you love your kids? And I remember watching the story of Ric Flair, the golden child, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, woo, yeah. And I think he lost his oldest son. I mean, he was in wrestling, touring, doing everything, drugs, everything. And he didn't spend much time with his kids. And his oldest son wanted to be like him. And so Ric Flair is still alive now. I mean, in his 70s, I guess. But he lost his oldest son to drug abuse. And that's it. So it just goes to show you that, your kids might not be seeing you, but they're actually seeing you. I mean, the behavior is there. The story is there. So it's just to say to us that substance abuse is not cool. It affects your health. And when a man is not healthy, instead of you being an asset to your family, become a liability to your family.
Definitely.
And now you're unable to provide and protect your family.
That's right.
So I put this out there just to say that, hey, let us, there are several resources within the region that we serve. CareSouth is there, Man to Man is there, and there are other providers out there. Mm-hmm. And so if you do need help, please feel free to call. I mean, our numbers are here. It's there on our Facebook page. It's there on our website. I mean, it's there.
That's right.
I mean, there are a lot of help out there. There are a lot of access to help out there. And the good thing is that most of it is free. So there's basically no excuse. And if it's not free, there are resources to reduce the cost or even to make it free.
That's right.
So it's just say that all those excuses are eliminated. And then we do have the internet where information is abundant there. So that is something that you can tap into. Trevor, do you have anything that you want to say?
Yeah, I just want to thank Daniel for what he did. He did a great job, and if I understood him well, it's just like what we call in management basic decisions. The whole idea about addiction is about a decision, and when you make a basic decision, maybe you want to gain like some temporary happiness or some short-term happiness, you might end up creating a long-term problem.
That's right.
From a bottle of beer just to make you happy, a bottle of liquor just to make you happy, you might end up creating a problem that you suffer for the rest of your life. Because it, like they say little drops make an ocean, and when you start with one, the next minute you see yourself going to 2, 3, 4, and that's how it's gonna continue. So it's all about making that decision right now. It doesn't matter how many bottles you've taken. It doesn't matter how many sticks you've smoked for the past years. It's about making that decision that will help you for a longer time, rather than just being happy for the moment and then you find yourself going down the drain for the rest of your life. So I feel that he's just hit the nail on the head, and it's up to us to make that decision. Like Gillian said, resources are very much available on the internet, even on billboards. We have like CareSouth, we have establishments who are ready and very willing to help us. So it's just for us to go get it and create a better future for ourselves, not only ourselves, our families, our kids, and our communities at large. So
Yes.
thank you, sir.
Daniel, let me just give you this opportunity to just provide our viewers with more information about, CareSouth, just in case of anything.
Well, if anybody want to contact CareSouth, you can do so at our Facebook page, which is CareSouth Carolina, or you can look for us through our website, www.caresouth-carolina.com. That's www.caresouth-carolina.com. Or feel free to visit any of our sites and pick up any literature that we have on substance abuse or our MAT program. We'd be more than glad to help you in the way we can. We understand that addiction happens, and it happens to the best of us, and it can only be changed whenever we retrain our bodies and retrain our brains. But it can be done. So just don't give up and seek us, and we can be a partner with you, an ally with you in your recovery.
Okay. And what I'll say in final is that the Man-to-Man program, we are a fatherhood initiative, and our main aim is to ensure that the father is connected with the family. Also, we do have females in our program. But what I'll say is that if you're interested in joining our program, please call our numbers. Also, enrollment is easy, and we serve the counties of Florence, Darlington, Chesterfield, Artsville, Marion, and also Marlborough County, and along with Dillon. So it's just to let you know that we serve the PD area, and that's in South Carolina. So please feel free to get in touch with us and learn more about our program. And thank you very much. And also tune in again next week where we talk about more substance abuse, I do believe, because this is something that greatly affects our family.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.